Well, let me check to see if we're, I do not know, I still don't know how this works. Hi, this is Io Kirkwood and Oso Blanco. We're from the Bridge Healing Center, and this is Community and Conversation at the Bridge. This is the Facebook Live version where you get to see us do all kinds of things like chew on our lips and rub our noses because we're nervous. But
well, we just meditated.
I know,
we're
but
chilled.
Whoa, my Facebook thing is doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm going to the Bridge Healing Center page right now. It's at the Bridge Healing Center, and I hope that I actually see the live so that I can at least look at your comments. But today what we are doing, it's here.
Wow, we're live and we're connected.
Yeah, we're live and we're connected. And it keeps saying boost event. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna have a look at the comment section. Of course, there's nothing yet. So there really isn't anyone here yet, is there? Comment as the bridge. What is happening? I really just don't like technology. I love it, but I don't. So, okay, am I in this? It seems like every time I do it, something changes. Ah, there we go. Oh, hey, I put captions on it. So people can actually... I just don't like technology.
That's me.
All right, so
I'm a gardener.
We have somebody. Hey, we're here. Hey, how are you? Welcome to my awkward. There we go. So I've got two. Hey, I put captions on it. Yeah, this is funny. It's terrible. I'm going to be watching this, and it'll be like a minute behind. So we're going to wait for a few more people to enter, and then we will get started. So if you want, go grab, your snack, your drink, take a potty break. We're just going to give a few more people a little bit more time so that they can come in and get settled.
Okay.
And yes, I put the captioning on. I hope that it doesn't garble everything up, but it should make it easier if some of you can't hear or you're having audio problems. We're gonna have a good time, Oso.
Okay, we're all ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You've been very busy.
Well, it's landscaping season in the fall.
Oh.
It's like the fruits, the seeds that you sow in springtime, you harvest in the fall.
Oh.
So everybody, especially with the pandemic and the isolation, it's all of a sudden the energy to be outside and to walk around with your trees and your grass and be outside is very, very highlighted right now in the fall.
That's an interesting thing that you say, because ever since before the pandemic, I have spent every day outside. I have been outside in the fresh air, in the sun, because I was told repeatedly by my spirit guides, you need to get outside, you need to get more sun, you need to get more fresh air. And so every morning I would sit out on my back porch. And I can say that now I'm addicted to it. I just don't want to go inside. I find myself like, oh, I have to go indoors? Ew.
Well, it's a good addiction, right? It's a good addiction. Plus the immune system, I think, is enhanced through the sun and through the fresh air and then the connection to the earth energy. I mean, the earth energy connects when we're inside, but it's probably more intimate when we're outside.
Yeah.
So I try to spend as much time outside as possible. I mean, that's what I do as a landscaper, as a gardener. And we are manifesting the seeds that we sown in the springtime. So I'm very been busy with planting and moving rocks and spreading soil in the earth and planting plants and transplanting plants and dividing plants and getting rocks. Thank you, Rachel. I don't know if you're out there, but I just got a whole bunch of rocks and we're making a big fire pit out in the Maloka. Our structure we have out back. So the rocks as the bones of the earth and the center of our lives, the center of the natural world is the rocks. And rocks become soil and soil becomes plants and plants start hanging out with us and it's all a big cycle.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a big cycle, but that was the one thing that just really shocked me was the addiction I have to being outside. And that fresh air has an antiseptic and antibiotic effect.
Amen on that.
The sun, the same. It's antibacterial, antifungal, and of course the vitamin D helps boost your immune system and allows your body to absorb calcium.
And the sun is like our spiritual brains. It's like shining brightly the sun always shines, right? I mean, we don't, but the sun's always shining. It's like our spiritual brains. I mean, we're talking about garden like a shaman, right? I mean, that's
we're segueing into that.
Right. So imagine the sun as always bright and always shining, always connecting, that bright light. So.
Right, but we're going into the dark underbelly of the season. So what kind of shadow lore is there in a garden like a shaman?
Well, it's a reflection. There's reflection as we're entering through fall, and I think that's one of the questions that we were talking about. As we enter into fall, obviously we go into winter.
Right.
And winter is the time where we go deep inward because sometimes it's so cold out and we want to be inside. Yeah. Although I still think that we should go outside as much as possible, even if it's cold.
Right.
It's every day is not a day at the beach, right? Every day is not, going into the beach at Ocean City or Fenwick Island, right? So, but the dark of the season is the time that we intuitively listen to what we're going to be doing for the next year. I know one of the questions that you were talking about is what do we do in the winter? How do we connect? And we connect through intuitive listening.
Intuitive listening, what does that involve?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Doing absolutely nothing and opening to the earth energy, to the energy of spirit, the energy of creativity.
So that dark, cool energy
is fertile for intuition. It's where creativity lives. It's where creativity lives in doing nothing, into being allowing. Yeah.
So, for those of you joining us, this is Io Kirkwood, and this is Oso Blanco, and we are presenting Garden Like a Shaman. This is going to be round 2, the fall-winter edition. Gardening does occur well past the times that you gather all the harvest in. And from a Wicca perspective, fall actually starts on August 1st. That is the first harvest of our solar year.
Yeah.
The second harvest is, of course, going to be tomorrow, the 22nd, or the autumnal equinox. And then our final harvest is Samhain, which is October 31st, and that kicks off the beginning of winter for us. So if you think about it, the autumnal equinox is really like mid-autumn. Just like, June 21st is midsummer. And solstice for the winter is midwinter. So all of those benchmarks that we have saying, this is the beginning of the season. No, this is the full flower of the season. Okay. So, there are different metaphors for how these cycles work, and that's one from Wicca.
Gotcha.
But we're going to be talking about what you're going to do, shrub maintenance, lots of practical things, but also how you can make it a spiritual practice. So we're here at the Bridge Healing Center. This is ComCon, Conversation and Community at the Bridge, or Community and Conversation at the Bridge. And let's get into it.
So we're going to talk about gardening and landscaping, but we're also going to talk about gardening and landscaping in all dimensions.
In all dimensions.
In all dimensions. The physical, the mental, emotional, and the spiritual.
Okay.
Like the triangle. Cool. Balance. If we can get it all balanced, then we're rocking and rolling here.
Yeah.
So not an easy task, but we'll make our best effort.
Okay.
That's all you can do. Right.
Take it away, Oso.
Okay. Well, are you going to ask me questions? Is that how you had some questions?
I didn't know if you had some segues into it. So, of course, I'm sure there are people out here who have questions, and I'll be checking on that in a moment because you're about a minute behind us as we're speaking. So the thing is that one of the big questions is, well, what do I do during this time? I mean, let's say I've brought in all my harvest. How do I prepare for the coming planting season? I mean, how many different planting seasons are there?
Well, fall is for planting. Fall is for planting, flat out. Like if you're in the green industry, we used to put banners up and we'd say fall is for planting. And because people would think, oh, fall, it's not for planting, but fall is actually a better planting time than springtime, which is almost blasphemy, right? It's like, oh my gosh.
I know, it seems so counterintuitive.
Yeah, but it's real, and the idea of planting shrubs and trees in the fall with the cool season coming on.
It's because they're no longer growing. So you're taking them in a dormant state and you're moving them from one place to another?
Essentially, and you get partial credit for that. You get partial credit. So the soil's warm, the roots are growing. They're not so much the perennial or the tree is not so interested in flowering and pushing leaves out and being all glorious. It's mostly interested in rooting and growing. So the earth is still moist. Well, it's been a dry season, and I've seen that in some plants. But the earth is generally open. It's not frozen. It's still warm from summer. The roots are very happy to grow. Transplanting, it's a wonderful time to transplant. Like if you need to move things around and move things from one place to another.
Pruning. We'll get to pruning because that's really important when you cut things back so that they can grow more.
Yeah, we can talk about pruning, but I think I'd like to start this essentially is that plants are sentient beings.
Yeah.
Plants are sentient beings. And like all life, like all animals, and when you garden like a shaman and you're outside, to regard all plants as sentient beings with an intelligence and with a love and with energy and with communication skills and abilities is very, very important. And if you want to garden in all dimensions, you have to respect the plants and the animals and all of nature as sentient beings, as we all are.
Yeah.
So when we realize it. So that was one of the first things I think you and I talked about. We were talking about doing Garden Like a Shaman Part 2.
Right.
Is what are plants? Just not this. You have to. A plant will grow if you love the plant. If you don't love the plant, it's probably not going to grow. But if you love the plant, love your plants, then you're going to have much more success with your growing. So very very important. But you started to talk about, well, the thing about plants, before we jump on to the next one, is that they channel the earth energy or the nature spirit. And it's like their intelligence.
Yeah.
So, and each plant has a little different message.
Yeah, one of the things that I had learned from my mom was that she would introduce me to a plant by having me work on it.
Yeah.
All right, and she would be like, and she would tell me its basic qualities and things of that sort. And then after that, if the introduction took place well, that plant would respond to me and at least thrive.
Oh yeah, you have to tune into that to what that plant is and what it likes and what it is and what message it has for you. You can't take an azalea and plop it into a full sun situation because it's not going to like it. It's an understory tree.
Oh, wait a minute. See,
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who considers myself to have a black thumb. Okay? I kill things. But I just had a thought. This just like amazing, like, revolutionary, but I'm certain very, very common thought of, oh my gosh, well, if I invited a friend over to my house and I wanted them to feel comfortable, then I would create a space for them to come and visit. And then I would interact with them in a way that is joyful and life-affirming and positive so that they would continue to feel comfortable in my space.
Right.
So I'm making room for the plant rather than just bringing it home and taking care of it.
Well, you got to put it in the right spot. You have to know what the plant is. You have to know what the plant likes. Mm-hmm. It's not all about you controlling nature. It's you forming a partnership with nature.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The partnership, the partnership we got this.
You're inviting a friend to come and stay with you. You're not, hiring an employee.
No. I mean, I think part of the issue that we're in society and civilization now is that a lot of big business and a lot of agricultural, chemical agriculture tries to control nature.
Yeah.
And you do what I say, it's the whole patriarchy thing. You do what I say, Mother Nature. And no, that's not really the way it goes. It's like it's a partnership and it's a listening and it's accepting the plant on its own terms of what it likes. Now, you can read a book and that's cool and you can understand that azaleas like this and they like acid soil and they like, partial shade and east light and they don't like to be pruned. They like to be pruned at certain times, which you can talk about. But you got to become in partnership with the trees, the bushes, the grass, the wind, the bees, the birds, the whole picture, the whole thing. Like, it's not just like a little task you're doing down there planting a plant. It's the big picture that you need to open up to be a successful gardener or just to align with the energy of nature, which is a healing force. And gosh knows we need healing forces now because there's a lot of good things going on and there's a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah.
So let's align with the good and let's align with healing. Let's align with cooperation and community and healing each other and being there for each other and receiving the blessings of nature.
Yeah.
It's there to be taken in. Amen on that.
Amen.
Ring that bell.
Ding.
It's for your fifth chakra. Welcome to the Oso show.
You're right.
Yeah. God knows what's
at the Bridge Healing Center Community and Conversation.
Yeah.
At the Bridge today, we're talking about Garden Like a Shaman, the fall-winter edition. We just got done talking about, fall being the best planting time. And we had come across the transplanting because the earth is still moist and warm, and yet the frenetic energy of blooming and growing, really growing, is now like subsided because spring has
starting to go inward. The plant's starting to go inward.
The plant is starting to go inward. So what we're
see how it's all all a mirror. It's all a mirror. Nature, the macrocosm, the microcosm.
Mm-hmm. And so what happens is, now that it's going inward, it's like, okay, I can be moved now. Now, the thing is I have a beautiful tree in my backyard. And one of the things that was concerning me was losing a lot of, branches. And so I had someone go in, and they knew what they were doing, because it was a team of... I don't even know how to say this, but a team of people who have grown up gardening in their country all their life, always taking care of the trees and everything because that's what they did. So they were farmers, and they came to the United States, and here they were pruning my tree.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So they did.
Do we know what kind of tree this is?
This is a, I'm trying to think. It's a lily. What's the tree's name? It has these they look like lilies on it.
Magnolias?
It's not a magnolia.
Mhm.
It's a type of
Okay.
I knew what it was.
Okay.
All right.
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
And
It's at least 50 years old.
And we are trees.
And we are trees.
You're
so
a tree,
the tree and I
I'm a tree.
talk.
Okay.
And the tree said to me, "Look, I just really need a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I need some of this pruned
Maintenance.
back.
Maintenance.
I need a pedicure and a manicure. Okay?
Do you need to trim your fingernails?
Yeah, I do.
Do you need to cut your hair? Do you
I
need
do.
to brush your teeth?
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
So I said, okay, let's get you all prettied up.
Yeah.
And we did it in the fall, after all the blooming and the petals had fallen and everything.
Right.
They did a beautiful job, and the tree was just like standing there in all her majesty, going, I feel amazing. You know, like she just came out of the salon.
Out of spa, right.
Yeah,
spa
you know.
day.
And is still thanking me a couple of years later for this. And I know that another spa session is coming.
Well, maintenance is an ongoing procedure,
Yes.
and there is no direct time to do maintenance. Maintenance with your interrelationship and your partnership in nature is an ongoing procedure. Mm-hmm. So it's not like maintenance time. I mean, you can maintenance in the early spring. I was with a customer today, Miriam and friends up in Finksburg, and fall is the time of maintenance too, because there's a lot of growth that needs to be trimmed back. Trees need some love. Each tree needs some love. That's what she says. Well, how much are you going to charge me to love my tree? Well, you know, you can't really put it. But successful gardening, the love's free.
Yes.
The love's free.
Yes.
But you prune the tree, you cultivate the tree, you fertilize the tree, you thin the tree out, you put some compost on it, you put some mulch on it.
Oh my goodness, there's a tree right down in the other neighbor's yard that looks like it has been butchered. And my brother, who is not, necessarily the most spiritual person, looks at me and he says, every time I sit out here, I can hear that tree screaming.
Well, they can measure scientifically the vibrations of plants. Mm-hmm. If a plant's happy, if a plant's not happy, if you think weird thoughts, like you're going to kill the plant, then the plant goes, it starts to go weird. If you love the plant, it's going to have a different vibration. So it is a receptive, sentient being. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we can learn as a society, as civilization, to love each other and love the plants, and then the plants love us, and then it's a big happy family. Yeah. I mean, it sounds simple.
Yeah, it does sound simple, and it is actually really simple. It's just you can't get caught up in the fear space of what's going on out there. You gotta reach that space of, okay, I set this aside.
Why are you hanging outside so much? Because
I'm setting it aside.
There's less fear.
Yeah.
In nature, there's really no fear.
No.
I mean, not really. It's more coexistence. Coexistence is we need to coexist with each other, and because the plants are coexisting and they're coexisting with the sun, mm-hmm. and they're coexisting with the wind. They're coexisting with the winged ones. They're coexisting with the four-leggeds, with the ones that crawl on their belly, mm-hmm. And the snakes and the insects. It's all a big symphony. So it's about coexistence. What would happen if we didn't have trees?
Where would we suffocate?
We would die. We would die. So before you cut the tree, address that tree. Tell the tree what you're going to do. If there's any elementals or whatever on the tree, tell them to go find another place, and they're cool with that. Do what you have to do with the tree, and the tree's going to be fine. It's just sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So cutting a tree is not bad, but it's how you do it is the important thing. So and then the tree metamorphosizes into firewood, into compost, into sawdust. I mean, I love sawdust. I mean, I go pick up sawdust every day because it's a component that goes into the compost pile. So If you see some sawdust and see me picking it up, I mean, I pick up rocks every day. I pick up sawdust every day.
Kelly just said, "That's the world I want to live in."
Ah, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. We love you, Kelly.
Yeah, we miss getting together at the bridge. We're in conversation about when we're going to start up having the meetings again at the physical mall location. We're waiting, of course, for phase 4, which is when things go back to normal. But until then, we're going to try and put together a Facebook Live.
Well, the last time we did this was before the censored word pandemic. And then now here we are I'm almost feeling like we're getting on the other side of it.
Yeah. This is the mirror opposite side of the apex.
Yeah. But just because the pandemic or whatever, we're sort of, we can't ever go back to the way it was. We can never go back to the way it was, because we'll just create another horrible event if we don't take care of each other, and we don't take care of the planet, and we don't take care of the plants. So this season of fall is very, very important to get out there and show your love to the plants, and work in community and work in groups and harvest your food and prune your trees and cultivate your beds and fertilize.
Mm-hmm.
But don't over fertilize now, because you're not pushing growth. You're not pushing new growth. You're kind of working with the roots.
Well, Josie, she just said, "I do everything you've said every day." And then she asked, "We do," because that's Mark too. And well, of course, they live close to the land and are always out in nature.
Well, what Josie's saying is that what I just said is that the interrelationship and the partnership with nature is not a seasonal thing.
Mm-mm.
It's an every day. It's an every second. Every second you are tuned in to what's going on in nature, because it's exactly what's going on inside you. It's a mirror. It's a mirror thing.
So I'm wondering how many people felt like they couldn't breathe with all the wildfires going on out on the West Coast. I mean, even I had problems breathing. And, when Steve went down to the ocean and Candy was taking pictures of the sun and he was taking pictures of the sun, and it was just covered, it had that orange glow. And then my aunt tells me, she goes, I'm in Washington State. She's right on the Columbia River, about 2 hours east of Portland. And she said her sky was orange. And she's up in the mountains.
It's like a Martian landscape. It's it's you hate to say it, but it's very apocalyptic, because I felt outside that even on the East Coast, as the smoke drifted across the country, we were probably getting 25% less sun in those days. And I felt the plants saying, "What the is going on? I need more of this juice. I need more medicine. I need more sun. Where's the sun?" The sun was there, but there was less of it. So if that continued over a long period of time, that would change the landscape. Not that landscapes are afraid to change, because landscapes are very resilient and they change all the time. But it was scary that some of the plants were starting to suffer. Some of the fall bloomers that wanted that sun, wanted that spiritual energy from the universe to come in. It's like there was 25% less sun. So that was kind of weird. I was like, God, I hope this changes, So I hope this changes. And it's not to say that our brothers and sisters on the West Coast there's some stuff going on out there, and here we get some secondhand smoke and we're freaking out. So, I think a lot of prayers and love and intentions should be sent to our brothers and sisters on the West Coast, because it's we got the COVID thing, and then they got the wildfires, and they got the drought and stuff like that. So God bless everybody in California and Oregon and Washington. I say prayers for them, because it's tough. So I think the smoke has moved on, and maybe it's over in Germany or Bavaria and Poland now and stuff like that. But it was kind of weird looking. It was weird looking,
Well, the interest Josie had just said that she plants by the phase of the moon.
Mm.
Is that something that you're familiar with?
I am not deeply familiar with that, and I would like to learn from Josie if you want to offer any particular comments. But I know planting on the full moon is a good thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very energetic, and it's the full moon. I was born on full moon,
Yeah.
so I mean that makes me kind of crazy, but you know, but that's okay. I've learned to live with
The
it.
intrinsic value.
Yeah, there's intrinsic value in who you are and what you bring to the table. But I know planting on the full moon and doing anything on the full moon is more fun because it just seems to be like a higher vibration, or
Ah,
the your water in your body is being pulled to
yeah.
your, you know. So you got to be careful not to freak out because you can get very emotional, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like do crazy things, you know, like that, like howl at the moon, right? You know, when do the wolves howl? You know, the full moon, that whole archetype, right?
Right.
But I do believe that possibly planting in the waxing of the moon may be better than when it's waning. But you know, it's never
Well, if
full.
you weed during the waning moon, if you're pulling
Pulling
weeds
weeds.
in the waning moon, especially say in a hot, dry sign like Leo,
Mm.
it's just the weeds don't stand a chance.
Well, let me say this about weeds. Let me say this about weeds is when I pull weeds, I try to say a prayer every weed I pull.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, thank you, mother. Thank you, mother. Oh, that's a good one. And then I start, and most of the weeds we pull are edible and nutritional. So, you know, I have a chapter in my book about like that, about the native perennials and what perennials are good to eat. So all those weeds are not necessarily weeds. I mean, a perennial is a weed in the right place, and a weed is a perennial. I mean, a weed, a perennial is a weed in the right place.
Okay.
A perennial in the wrong place is a weed. It's like,
Gotcha.
oh, I don't,
Because
but
they
each,
keep coming back.
yeah, but each weed is sacred. Each weed is sacred. It's a sacred expression of Mother Nature. So, you know what? You have a few weeds, that's cool. Okay. You don't have to have a lawn that has no weeds. You don't have to have a landscape bed that have no weeds, because that's not the way it is. That's working in cooperation with nature rather than controlling nature. Bring the Roundup, spray it all down, kill the weeds, kill the frogs, kill the toads, kill the worms. No, that's an old story that we got to let go.
Yeah.
And the chemicals, the chemical agriculture is one of the reasons that Mother Nature has kicked our butt lately. And we need to stand up for her and say, stop, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. No
Yeah.
more. No more. No more. I don't have
I
any.
only use that stuff like for poison ivy.
Well, poison ivy has a spiritual significance. Poison ivy says, stay the F back. Poison ivy grows where we've messed nature up. I've been reading about poison ivy. I don't get poison ivy. So we're going to have a conversation about that, because poison ivy is a child of God.
Well, see, I did not deal with the poison ivy. I let it be
Let it be.
until someone came around and they were upgrading my electric
Yeah, that's fine. You can trim it. You can get it. You know, but I'm just saying. And for me and Mother Earth, I will stand up and say no more chemicals. No more chemicals under any circumstances.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
I won't use a lawn
Thank
treatment system or anything.
Good.
Yeah, I'm like, let the dandelions grow, but so
And eat them.
eat them.
Eat them. Yeah, the problem right there. My friend, my neighbor, I don't know if you're listening, he was like walking around my yard. I'm pulling the dandelions and eating them. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating the dandelions, right? He says, well, don't come over in my yard. I'm spraying the chemicals over there. I say, I will not.
Yeah.
But that's not, you know, I mean, I know to each his own, but it's time to stop using chemicals with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
So transplanting and pruning are good things to do during the fall. What about during the winter?
You can do, if it gets frozen, and you transplant something and it freezes, then that's a problem. So same with pruning in the winter. You can prune branches in the winter as long as they're not frozen. So there's evergreens that I have planted in January and December. So if you can get through the ground, and even if there's sometimes planting in the snow is the greatest thing. You got your own watering system, with the snow on the ground, and you can't plant perennials. In fact, perennials probably should not be planted after Thanksgiving, and maybe even before then. So there is some scientific green industry protocols. And don't plant oaks in the fall. Don't try to transplant an oak in the fall. Will not live. Transplant an oak in the springtime. Or birches, the white birch.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Well, it's just that particular plant because the roots need and crepe myrtles is another thing. Do not transplant crepe myrtles in the fall. Wait to the early spring and then the crepe myrtles, because it's something to do with the root system that they need to gain strength over the winter. And but you can plant in the winter. You can plant right through the snow, like Norway spruce and arborvitaes and white pines, but not like shrubs, not like azaleas. Or I don't know why I talk about azaleas, because I don't even plant azaleas. They're so touchy. I don't even plant. I know they're a creature of God, but azaleas and rhododendrons.
Oh my goodness!
What, you get too much?
You have special plants, and then you have your plants that are on the. I don't dislike them.
No,
it's just I don't want to mess with them.
Well, they take, like azaleas, take a very particular soil type. They take a very particular light. They take very particular fertilizer. They get lace bug. They get lacewing. So they're very particular. They're very finicky. Which is like some of us.
What if I don't need to plant anything? What are the things that I can do in winter to connect to the land?
That's good. In winter, we intuitively listen. We design. I have a garden club, Finksburg Garden Club, and we had a meeting and we talked about designing. And winter is the great time to design. It's also a great time to go out and listen and sit in winter and listen to the birds and listen to the vibrations of the earth.
That's what I was doing.
And listen to the wind.
That's what I did last winter.
Make a fire. Feed the fire. Make an intention. Feed the fire. Burn your waste. Go out and get warm and burn your stuff at the same time in winter. Compost. Compost is like Josie was saying, she maintains all the time. I compost all the time. I know I'm composting. We're all composting, right? Okay, we're composting.
Yeah.
Whether we know it or not.
Yeah, well,
So why not compost 24/7? Take your coffee grounds.
I'm wondering if you have digestive issues.
Digestive issues.
Composting would be like a way to sort of like on the outside tend. So if you get your compost healthy, somehow it will mirror back into you getting your gut healthy.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with it because, again, it's what you do on the outside is what's going on the inside. So your digestive issues are because maybe you're sitting on your butt too much. So why don't you get your butt off the couch and go out and start turning the compost and getting leaves and getting little twigs and cutting little things up and taking your coffee grounds and your eggshells and turning the compost. You can do that in winter because inside the compost it's hot. You want to generate warm energy as far as the fire of organic decomposition in your compost pile. So composting's like right on for winter. Find that inner fire within, and then you can sometimes go out and your compost is smoking. It's smoking. You can see the decomposition come up, and actually you can see like a haze around it. So it's very cool. But notice also feed the birds. Make an alignment with the birds. Those cardinals and the blue jays and all the guys that hang around. Give them a little warm bath. Call them in. Love the birds, love the winged ones, and they're going to love you, and they're going to bring seeds and drop seeds all over everything. So feed the birds and tune into the, if you have evergreens, then a lot of birds and a lot of little creatures like to hide in the evergreens in winter because it stops the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? Hike, dress properly and go hike. It could help your digestive issues from sitting on the couch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watching Edge of Night or The Days of Our Lives or whatever, I know that's the 50s and the 60s. I don't even know.
But I remember that.
You remember that, right? Don't, right. You talk about drama. That's drama. Like, oh, I'm leaving you. You can't leave me. I have your baby. It's not my baby. You cheated on me.
Oh, God.
Anyway, also sing songs of gratitude. And start singing. It's the winter time, go start singing some songs of how much you love winter and appreciate the subtlety of the colors of winter. You think there's no colors in winter? No, there's a lot of colors. We talked about in our garden class. It's like, there's a tree that's gray in the summer and it turns red in the winter. Do you know what it's called? Mm-hmm. Coral bark red maple or sangu kuku. Sangu kuku, cuckoo for sangu kuku.
Oh.
It turns red. It's called a coral bark red maple.
Uh-huh.
I'm not kidding you. I'm telling you.
I know you're not kidding.
It turns red in the winter.
Uh-huh.
As far as it's like it wants to be seen. Mm-hmm. It wants to be seen. And then when the spring comes, it turns like a chameleon. It turns gray, and then it turns back to gray-green. But then if you go out and find sangu cuckoos right now, you're not cuckoo. They are turning red. Red twig dogwood does the same thing. Sparkleberry. Noticing is part of gardening like a shaman. Notice what's going on. You don't have to be like an action figure all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can receive the blessings of the winter season.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else we got. Yeah. So and be still. And meditate and make your intentions for springtime. It's a great time to design. You can design landscaping. You can design your life. You can design what book you're going to write. You can design of how you want to, self-improvement. You design your exercise program. Design your hikes. It's a good time to reflect on the stillness of the season. Now, unless you live in the desert, but the desert has winter too. It's like the temperatures are lower, the temperatures are normal, like I used to live out in Phoenix and Tucson, and winter it's still a season, but in Costa Rica, winter is like wet. No, I'm sorry, winter is dry, summer is wet. So they really don't have cold and wet. They have winter is the dry season, the summer is the wet season. So sometimes we have to speak in terms of global things. Rather than just our local Maryland. But for most of the people around the bridge and everything, we're talking about Maryland. And I love Maryland. Maryland's American miniature.
Is it?
Yeah. You got the ocean, you got the mountains, you got the hills, you got the bay, you got rivers. It's really a beautiful place. But I really think we need to send a lot of prayers to our brothers and sisters on the West Coast now because I feel that I talked to some of my friends out there, some of the friends associated with the Integral Yoga Institute in San Francisco, Hygiene and Diane and Swami Ramananda and Swami Divananda and Ashokananda. I love you guys, and it's a war zone out there. So God bless you all.
You were talking about creating a Zen garden. And I saw in your notes that let's talk about some hardscaping.
Hardscaping.
Yeah.
You know what hardscaping is? Hardscaping is like constructing with stone and hardscaping versus plantscaping.
Yeah, but the thing is that I've seen you with your landscaping, and you take this rock that has its own sentience and individuality.
Oh yeah.
And you just set it, and it's not necessarily it's in the center, but it takes the center, and it sits in a certain way, and it draws the attention, and then all the planting around it is then designed to work with it.
That's very astute. That's a very good observation. You were noticing.
Mm-hmm.
We did a landscape of the bridge, right? We
Yeah.
up on Route 30 in Hampstead.
Yeah.
We changed the energy, right? We put a landscape on there,
Yeah.
and we used rocks and boulders being the center, boulders being the bones of the earth.
Yeah.
And a lot of energy comes from these rocks in terms of like their organic decomposition and their wisdom. And then it takes millions of years for them to become soil. And the knowledge in the rocks and the soil makes the plants. Mm-hmm. So the way that rocks are positioned, the way that rocks are sentient beings. Mm-hmm. I hate to break it to you all, but all rocks are sentient beings.
You mean my bracelets have ascension?
Yeah. So all rocks have a home. Mm-hmm. I had a Hispanic friend who says, he used to tell me, every rock has a home. Every rock will find a home.
Yeah.
And these rocks will be here long after we're here. So give them a good home. And they have love. Mm-hmm. A love for the ground. Mm-hmm. It's like gravity. They love the ground. You ever pick a rock up?
No, they don't like to leave.
It wants to go to the ground.
Yeah.
Right? So every rock has a love for the ground, and they have love. They have energy. And the older the rock is, they get faces. They look like the energy that they've taken in over millions of like an owl, like a snake.
So if you go hiking, like say at Catoctin, right, Cunningham Falls,
right,
you can look for the faces in the rock.
Oh, they're there. And the older the rock is, the more the face, they take on the life that they've been around the whole time. They're like, they just suck it in. Mm-hmm. And then with time and wind and erosion, it carves an entity within. I know, some of you out there saying, you're nuts, but I've been this way for so long, I don't care anymore. And I'm just going to say it like it is. Yeah. Because rocks are a very, very, very important part of my landscaping and gardening like a shaman and placing the rocks just so. They have to be just so.
Is Joanne one of you?
Oh, Joanne, hi, love. Good to see you.
Just want to make sure.
Oh, Joanne, yeah, she's a landscape buddy. Actually, she was a cheerleader back in the day when I used to play football for the Woodlawn Falcons. So, yes, go Woodlawn.
These stones, like I've been considering making a labyrinth.
Oh, yes.
And that in and of itself, just designing it is a meditative practice. But then to select each stone and then to put it, this is not something that you rush. When you are doing these gardening things, when you are making your plans, it should become a meditation, something that you don't force. It's not a project that you need to complete. It is a collaboration that you're working
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
It's not a goal because that rock that you put there, it's like, that's not the last place that rock's going to be. After we're dead and gone, that rock will find a new home, basically. It might get buried in the earth for 1,000 years, and all of a sudden somebody 1,000 years later digs it up and says, oh, that was the rock Io put there, 1,000 years ago that she put her love into. But every rock needs to be placed in the most appropriate position that's comfortable for the rock and how it relates to the world around it. And the rocks that we put up at the bridge home up in Hampstead, it wasn't you just throw the rock down. You don't just put you.
No, because the way that the rocks were positioned, I looked at it, and even Bev looked at it, and we were like, that just makes it.
Well, I can't say there's a right way, but they make a sound when they hit the ground or they touch another rock. There is a sound, and that sound, I've trained myself to hear that sound, and it's like, like Oso, do we need to move it? Do we need to? It's done. Move on. No, well, I think it's done. I heard it. It's over. Let's move on. Don't overthink it, because when I hear the sound, also, rocks kiss. They kiss. When you push, and I know some of my landscape buddies are out there, I don't know if they know this, but when you get a rock and a rock and you're trying to put them together to work, they kiss and it's over. It's like it's done. But it's not done till you hear them kissing. And
I know exactly what you're talking
you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard
Yeah.
them kiss
Yeah, they
before.
kiss, right? Rocks
It's
kiss.
just sort of like this sweet, almost chiming clunk.
Yep. Yep, that's
Ah.
good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll need you to on the landscape jobs. Make the confirmation like boom.
Yeah, we're making babies.
Yeah, right. For little rock babies. Yeah. Well, you don't think they are. Well, I don't know if that's an issue with rocks, but maybe they don't have all those issues. Maybe they just everything's like making babies all the time or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
and Steve just said it's like a sweet thump for the ground, the
Yeah.
high-pitched chime when they kiss.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so anything you're doing, like that one rock that we put outside, that holly, it was like, my guys put it down. I was like, that's great, and you almost have to make it look like it's been there. You make the rock feel comfortable. You honor that rock's position, maybe as it was naturally in the ground. So, I know we're putting a lot of words to this. And we can say a lot of words to it, but the best thing to do is throw some rocks around and experience it. But when you hear the sound, it's done.
Yeah.
So hardscaping, Zen gardens, labyrinth, each rock you place in the labyrinth, it's a prayer. Every time you weed, it's a prayer. Every time you plant, it's a prayer. I have a whole chapter in my book, Garden Like a Shaman.
Yes, you do.
I have a book. A book's coming out, folks. It's 3/4 done. But every rock, when you place the rock, it is a prayer. It's an intention. So to become aware in your gardening on a task by task is what it's like to garden like a shaman and connect to nature energy, which is a healing through nature, healing the holistic body through nature in all dimensions. I'm plugging the book.
Yeah, I know, but this is
what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is where it started.
This is
right
what
here
we're
at
selling.
the bridge.
So we're not just landscaping. We're not just gardening. We are healing ourselves. We're healing the planet. We are co-working with the planet, and we are providing visual delights for us to enjoy our life.
And remind ourselves of just how good life is.
Amen. Gratitude. The gratitude of that you actually can plant a plant. And be so in love with that one little plant. I just got this plant called Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. Kiss Me Kate, or Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. And it's so beautiful and such a blessing. So if you can open yourself up to the blessing of each plant, and each plant, like you, like me, we have different personalities, right?
Yeah.
But each plant will give you a different blessing and a different lesson. But the Zen garden and creating the space, it's sometimes the formless that you're dealing with. You're dealing with the lack of, in a Zen garden, it's like the space that you create rather than the space that you create.
The things that are placed don't become important. It's the space between the places that becomes important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it creates energy flows. So the idea is that you're not just looking at how each of the stones is in relation to the other stones. You're looking at the space in between them in relation to the spaces between everything else.
I think my very first landscape back in 1970, whatever, was a Zen landscape or a adult sandbox, a playground for your mind. Yeah, because it was a sandbox and they didn't know what to do with a sandbox.
Oh my goodness.
So we said, let's make a playground for your mind or an adult sandbox. Mm-hmm. And so the sandbox with the sand and the wall and the pathway and the upright rock like a creature. And it was like, okay, here we go. We're landscapers now, So I don't know. It was a playground for your mind, adult sandbox, but the Zen garden went in there. So Zen gardens can occur anywhere. It can occur within the landscape. Mm-hmm. You can have a microcosmic Zen garden in a full-blown East Coast woodland forest, perennial azalea rhododendron
Right.
landscape, you know.
Just hiding in the middle, like a little gem, a jewel inside the lotus.
A couple rocks hanging out, having a little party, you know. It's
a
like
rock
whoa.
party.
Yeah, rock party, you know, for all you rock and rollers out there, you know. You know, we take our rocks seriously, but we also know that the rocks are very wise because look at all they've seen.
Any parting words for us?
Oh, we're parting?
Yeah, we're about
dear.
at an hour, yeah.
Intuitive listening.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Intuitive listening. Intuitive listening in your meditation. Intuitive listening in your gardening. Intuitive listening when your partner or your friends are talking to you. You can shut your mouth and listen to them so you don't have to yak your jaws all the time. Listen and allow and open to the wonderful creative earth energy and the energy from spirit that it's so rich right now. Mm-hmm. It's so rich. Don't watch the news. Don't get into fear. Like, take in the love and garden like a shaman.
Oh, true words have not been spoken, sir.
Amen. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Io Kirkwood and Oso Blanco, and we're from the Bridge Healing Center. Thank you for joining us at Community and Conversation, or ComCon at the Bridge. And we will let you know when we're going to have another ComCon, or when we're actually going to be able to get together and see each other and hug each other at the mall. Okay, so all of you have a wonderful, safe next few weeks. Be mindful and intuitive listening. Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Okay, and over and out.
That's good, huh? It got caught up in our flow. We got into the flow.